I have always been a Gibson guy. There's a special place in my heart for Gibson. So I've never ever desired the overseas Epiphones. They're just not for me. There's plenty of amazing ones out there that play great and sound great, just not for me. Until one day I walked into the Gibson garage in Nashville, Tennessee, and I saw this beautiful Epiphone Emily Wolfe White Sheraton Stealth. And next thing I know, I'm dreaming of a white Epiphone. So it used to look like this. Totally beautiful guitar. I customized it. We're gonna get into that. Look at this thing. You got this white gloss finish that's just to die for. They call this lightly aged gold hardware. And it originally came with 2 ProBucker pickups with the gold covers. So you have white binding on the edge, but you also have multiply binding a little away from the edge, which is something completely unique to the Epiphone Sheraton. You have these Angus Young style lightning bolts in abalone on these real mother of pearl block inlays. This is an Indian laurel fretboard. It's got a very similar look, maybe a little bit lighter, to rosewood. This is a 60s style compact Epiphone headstock with the Tree of Life inlay. When you saw this on a Gibson model, it's actually Gibson copying Epiphone. Grover Rotomatic tuners, again with this lightly aged gold. Binding on the front, binding on the back, and then there's ivory binding on the side, which is super cool. And this is a pressed maple body. I suspect maple, poplar, maple, which is what Gibson uses on the ES line. I think that that's one of the reasons why I opened my heart up to this guitar, was the fact that it's not copying an ES355. It's literally taking from the Epiphone heritage itself, a unique model that was made in Kalamazoo, Michigan by Gibson, but unique to Epiphone. One of the main things I judge a guitar on is how many songs are inside of it. Does it call to me? Even with almost 200 guitars, I would find myself pulling out this Emily Wolfe Sheraton. Except the ProBuckers inside just weren't doing it for me. I gotta make it something that I want to play on a desert island. The first thing I thought about was, I love DiMarzio Deactivator X pickups. And one of the main reasons I gravitated towards them in the first place is the fact that you can choose whatever color bobbins you want with whatever color pole you want. And aesthetically, to me, that's awesome. I was envisioning what white with gold would look like, and they did not disappoint. Called my friend Josh to put these all in, and as you can see, built a brand new wire harness. I made it 2 volumes, 1 tone, and then if you pull out the tone, you can split the pickups. Thinking. Now I have what I have dubbed my Epiphone Sheraton White Beauty. It's just gorgeous. And now when it calls to me, it's everything that I want, because I love the sound of these DiMarzio Deactivator X's. I have only 2 stands that are single stands around my studio. And this guitar is on one of them. I don't care who plays it, I don't care who bumps into it, because it's an Epiphone. Now every Tuesday, I get together with my drummer, my friend, my fellow bandmate in Lost Symphony, Paul Lourenco. See you next Tuesday, Paul! And he picks this up almost every Tuesday to show me a new riff he's been working on. And he's like, why don't you do a video updating what you did to this guitar? So I said, Paul, why don't you come over here and help me with this demo and tell us what you think about this guitar. You play it every Tuesday.
That's the thumbnail right there.
Do the David Lee Roth. Look at all the people here tonight.
What do you think about that guitar, Paul?
It's awesome. I like it. For an Epiphone. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's awesome. I dig it.
Are you kidding though?
Oh no, I'm absolutely a Gibson guy, and I've kind of always shunned Epiphones because it's, you know, like the cheaper Gibsons, but this is a Sheraton, right?
It's the Emily Wolfe White Sheraton Stealth, but I have now made it what I dubbed the Sheraton White Beauty.
No, it's awesome. I like it. And like you said, it's not a copy of a Gibson, which is why I like it. The Beatles played Epiphones, so that makes them legit in my book.
The person that probably made this guitar the most famous was Noel Gallagher from Oasis. And one of them he customized with what they call the Union Jack paint job. Kind of became the famous one he played. Ironically, Epiphone released the Noel Gallagher Supernova, and it had the Union Jack paint job. But the thing that was kind of crazy about it is that it was the Epiphone Riviera, not the Sheraton. And then Epiphone releases another limited edition of only 1,000 Epiphone Union Jack Sheratons, but it wasn't an official Noel Gallagher model. Did you follow all of that? Well, there you go. You could get the Noel Gallagher Supernova and play a Riviera. I got these DiMarzio Deactivator X's because I thought they looked awesome. They don't really have a ton of highs. They're made for high gain. You have a semi-hollow guitar where usually you have pickups like 57s or the Pro Buckers that have a lot more treble to them, which was one of the main reasons why I wanted to split it, to give them a little bit more spank. You now have kind of these high gain, ragey pickups in a classic tone machine. The Epiphone Sheraton is its own thing. It's not a copy of anything else. And it came out in 1958, which was only 1 year after Gibson bought their rival Epiphone. The early version from 1958, 1959, like Richie Sambora's that you see right here, came with Epiphone New York single coil pickups, a 5-piece Epiphone neck. You have these white carousel knobs that are super cool. And mind you, the pickups and the neck were leftovers from Epiphone. It's basically the same construction as the ES with the Epiphone neck. You have the solid maple block down the middle of it. You have the pressed maple body. It's mother of pearl block inlays with the Emperor style abalone V or triangle cutout, which is one of the reasons I love this guitar. It kind of harkens back to it because you have the mother of pearl but with the lightning bolt. A lot of them had these frequencator tailpieces. Now they took the frequencator tailpiece from a lot of these older Epiphone New York arch tops. So this is a 1940 Triumph. You would have for the bottom 3 bass strings, a longer run of string, kind of like a piano. And obviously the top 3 treble strings, they would have less of a run. So kind of an interesting idea. Certainly aesthetically really cool. By 1961, they were still using the Epi necks, but they had started using Gibson mini humbuckers. They had also changed the knobs to much more Gibson-y gold bonnet knobs, which look cool too. You had some versions that had the frequencator and some had the tremotone, which is basically like the vibrato. The 58, 59, and 60 had Bigsby's. By 1962, the Sheraton basically became a Gibson guitar. They started putting the mahogany neck on there. It wasn't old Epiphone parts. You had the mini humbuckers. They changed the shape of the headstock. Absolutely beautiful guitar.
I like the finish. I'm usually not a big fan of white guitars, but it definitely, something about the not super shiny finish appeals to me.
It's got a gloss, but it's like, is it a satin gloss? What do you call it?
A little bit. I would call it satin, but I don't know. It's not like one of those like the faded Gibsons or something like that, where it's not finished. It's definitely got a finish to it. It's just a little bit less shiny. But it's cool. I like it. And the same with the headstock. The headstock is matching. And I love the new pickups and the new knobs. It looks great. Definitely added to the whole theme with the white and gold. It's awesome. Oh, I didn't notice that the hardware is actually like that too.
They call it age gold. You couldn't really match it. So if you look at the knobs, they're actually brass, but everything else is age gold.
But yeah, the Grovers and the bridge and everything and the tailpiece. That's cool.
To be clear, Epiphone wasn't always overseas. This 1930 Epiphone Seville number 4 was made in New York City. It's actually one of the first 14 fret to the body acoustic guitars ever made. And when Gibson bought Epiphone out in '57, they started building guitars like this FT45 Cortez, which is actually my first guitar ever. This is a 1963. Beautiful quality guitars. They play awesome. They sound awesome. They are as good as any Gibson out there. You should give them some respect. Not a bad guitarist for a drummer. I love this guitar because every day that I pass it, I look at it and it makes me happy. So I never thought I'd say it, but my Desert Island guitar is an Epiphone. Why don't you smash that subscribe button already?